Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning into my tarot channel. My name is Paulina and I want to share a tarot reading with you today. I'm using a deck called Dia de los Muertos. And at some point I'll share where I get my decks. It's a physical place that I enjoy because it's affordable and they have a variety of things and the people are nice. So at some point I'll put that. It's you can probably actually buy from them online too, but anyway, so the reason I mention that is because I think the origin of where we get our decks, there's energy there too, like how we feel about the store, the people, the relationship we have with the area, maybe history we have with it. Yeah, so it's sort of a special area for me also. So I wanted to do a reading, and I'm gonna also start doing some astrological videos that are like synastry or synastry, which means like how signs interact like with each other in relationship. Also, like I'll do some progress chart and midpoint readings, which is just some different ways to see where you're at in life and how you interact in the world. Yeah, so I'm gonna do some more. I'm gonna kind of open it up a little bit. Okay, so the first card that we got is Queen of Cups, and we got King of Pentacles reversed. So you may feel like you are full of, you know, sort of receptivity right now, but you're not seeing, but you feel physically poor, like you're open to things happening. And maybe you have seen some change happen, you know, because with the Queen of Cups, she has the heart there, and that makes me think of blood flow. Maybe you have gotten something moving, but you're not exactly seeing results yet, and you feel poverty consciousness still. And Two of Cups. You may be like worrying or thinking about a romantic relationship that's maybe in separation. Maybe you're preoccupied with another partner, or maybe there could also be like a space in your life being made for a partner that wasn't there before. I like how in this their skulls are pouring water into each other. It makes me think about how when we connect with someone, you know, emotionally, physically, spiritually, it's almost similar to that metaphor that we're pouring ourselves into them and vice versa. Let's see. Eight of Pentacles. I feel like you're starting to realize that abundance comes to you when you I want to say honor the dead. I don't even know where that's coming from. I don't know if you know, if you've ever watched this before, I see myself as a psychic channel, a medium, so I'm getting this from my higher self, my guides. And if you don't want to believe in that, you can just think of it as a Jungian sort of like image-based Rorschach thing, where if you know Jung, like it's about these archetypes and that, or law of attraction. There's other ways to look at it if you don't like the psychic thing, but so I am saying that I feel like maybe you're thinking about people who you're thinking about maybe your own death and people who've died, and also the death of old things, and also what you could bring to life, like what you could recreate out of the rubble, you know. And with the green here, I feel like it's actually a really verdant time where you will be reaping the rewards of, because the 8 comes after the 7. The 7's about building the garden. The 8's about sort of getting that garden really going and getting the rewards. Well, really the 7 is about a skill, and the 8's about the garden being replenished. And then the 9 is about enjoying the garden. So you may have learned a skill before this. You may have, and then before that, there may have been charity that was given to you. because before that you had some poverty. I'm just going down the scale of down the cards of, since we started at 8, if we go all the way to 5, 5 is poverty. So I feel like it's a progressive thing where like you were at nothing, maybe also physically, spiritually, emotionally, psychically, energetically, and really maybe just really had no resources. Okay, so the 10 of Cups, there's going to be a big rebirth coming for you. And see how it's a butterfly? Butterfly is, it's a caterpillar and a chrysalis for, I forget how long, but I don't know. I should really know this. Months? A month? I don't know. Weeks? Anyway, it would be funny if it was 10 weeks. But, so, we keep getting all this heart imagery, and I feel like you're meant to fly away from a negative situation, and you may be like really worried about other people who actually have hurt you, but you're actually in a time of rebirth. Like, you're worried about their well-being, which is really kind of you, but you also had to sort of cut these people off for your own protection, I'm seeing. And you were in a time in the chrysalis, the cocoon, when you were like, I'm in my deep healing, and now you're opening like a butterfly spreading its wings and transforming. And there's something beautiful coming out of your heart space that I feel like was blocked for a long time. You may want to work on the whole lung area, like work on what you're exposed to, because we keep seeing the heart imagery, just, obviously the lungs are right there. Like, not only what you're exposed to, but like what you, like, there's ways to filter out what our lungs take in. My favorite is hot steam in the shower. You don't even have to get in the shower, just steam up the bathroom, or steam room at a YMCA. We got the Chariot. I feel like it's kind of go time for a lot of things in your life, and you're at a point where you need to just push some buttons. I think you're afraid to push some of the buttons that are available, but because you're like, you've had some really like hard times, and you're like afraid that there will not be success. But you also, the hard times make you like sometimes catapult towards success, because it's sort of like Scarlett O'Hara when she's like, God is my witness, I'll never go hungry again. Because she's like, after the war, they're like eating like raw turnips because they have no food. And then she kind of does some bad things to get the money that she needs. But she does never go hungry again, because she's determined after that experience. Yeah, so I was going to say something else. It's not just about that. I'm going to change decks. This is the Kim Krantz archetypes. It's not just fear of success. Sorry, I think someone's watching TV on the other side of my hotel room. It's not just fear of success. It's also fear of, ooh, what is that fear? I'm feeling it in my body. There's fear. It's like, if I try again and I get another chance and I screw it up, then what? But sometimes there's a Native American saying, ooh, sometimes like to just do nothing. I'm not like really saying it right, but basically like to leave things alone. Still shoot out your arrows of things, apply to things you want or whatever. I don't know, maybe you're like an artist and you're like applying to like shows or whatever it may be, art school. Maybe you're applying for money, maybe you're applying for a loan, or you're applying for something, and maybe a job, apartment, and it's going, it could enhance your life, and you're seeing kind of a clear pathway, whereas before you were like, there is no pathway. Now you're like, what if I did this? What if I put myself out there in this different way? And then support is sort of going to come as you have these thoughts, I know it's crazy, as we start thinking, what if sort of the world does fill in the blanks, and Abraham Hicks calls that the grid filling in. When you say, hey, I think I really like this feeling of doing this, and you get on that high flying disc, that bigger, higher energy field, then you realize you don't have to work so hard to make life happen. We don't have to work to make our lungs, I mean, most people, if you're lucky, to make our lungs work at night. We just breathe automatically. We don't have to work to make our nails grow or to digest. Most of us, if we're lucky, it just happens on its own. The grass grows on its own. It's not a process that we know about. My grandmother wrote a book called If We Could Hear the Grass Grow. She was a psychotherapist, and it was about actually working with, she wrote many books. It was about working with children who were like, had mental health issues, but also like just physical issues. Like there were a lot of things kids had. And they came to this camp that was, the counselors were my mom and her siblings. And she wrote a book about just the stories, and it was called If We Could Hear the Grass Grow. And I think what I got from it is it's sort of like we can't see progress or growth all the time as it's happening, but we can trust and hope that it is. And we can't be reassured. We just have to believe and hope and pray. It is really, I guess, sort of, probably because she was raised Catholic, my grandma. Even though later in her life she was like, I don't care about this, but then she kind of had to get back into it because my mom was really into it. Isn't it funny how families work like that? Because her mother was a devout. Anyway, enough about my family. I'm also getting a strong hit from, I had a therapist who passed on, and he's saying to me right now, I'm getting him in this very strongly in this reading, the harder the struggle, the greater the reward. And that is a famous quote. I don't remember who said it, but the sweeter the victory, the harder the struggle, the greater the struggle, the sweeter the victory. And then also, he talked a lot about folly and man's folly, the folly of man. I think he made his own quote here. Folly of man, something about like, folly of man is the folly of God, something like that. I'm not getting it right. Sorry, old therapist Tom. But I think it's sort of that following, I'm probably not reading it the way he would want me to, but the folly that leads us to adventure or and also trying new things. We have to have a little bit of a blind spot because otherwise we would never do it. And that folly is actually led by God, and it's related to the Fool card. So yeah, we got the Village. I think that you've been missing community because we got it reversed, and you're in a time where you're going to start building a different community because you've been incredibly isolated. You may become the leader of a community, not like a cult or anything, but maybe a group, maybe an activist group. I'm not sure. We got the Siren. I feel like there's been something that's calling to your heart, like a siren would. It's not a person. Could be a place, but it's a focus or an experience or something that your life is yearning. Maybe travel. Well, that was intuitive because this adds up to 9, which is the house of travel. And I didn't realize that. But also, I think that the thread, there's some intergenerational trauma that you're breaking right now in your life. There's a lot of toxicity in your generational line. Maybe there's mental illness that goes way back, or mental health issues, or physical issues, illnesses, or just a plethora of there's some negativity. And there were some, for you, you got sort of the brunt of that, where you came in sort of like, you know, you were born rearing to go, and then the people around you were kind of like stunted. But I see that you're gonna be a leader for you're gonna be like a shaman for a tribe, but not in like a way that's dictatorial or like literal, or like you would never say that. It's, you're gonna help others, you're gonna help other people, and that's gonna be your purpose in this life. And I don't know what that will be. This does add up to 12, which adds up to 3. So the 12th house could be something very intuitive for you, something very, it does have to do with healing and the arts. Also chemistry, dance, photography, communication, dreams, the ocean. Also, so that adds up to 3. So that there's, yeah, just communication again, the 3rd house. Maybe, and also just the people in your immediate environment is the 3rd house, which would be Gemini. So I think that you're gonna have some big impact now in your life because you're ready to take center stage in a way you were afraid to before, because you've been through something very intense and you have something to say. And I think it's gonna get bigger than you even ever imagined. And I think that it's gonna feel overwhelming, and you're gonna actually want to share the success with the people who hurt you, because you see they may not be able to get it. But I'm seeing like major change, major life change, and it's not gonna be that long. And I'm also seeing like healing of ailments, of this intergenerational trauma. Let's get one card, because I can feel my dog will freak out because there's people outside and she doesn't like that. XL5. The threshold. The threshold. So there may be, yeah, this is what we're talking about. You're right, like on the precipice. You're right at the sort of like the fool and the little dog right about to jump off the cliff. I have a little white dog, so I kind of see myself as the fool. Yeah, I want you to lean into that energy of, there's something that you're on the threshold of discovering, of enjoying, of creating, because I know you can feel it too, and it's going to be good. And don't be afraid of what comes of it, because it may be something very big that like snowballs. And yeah, that's the reading. So thank you so much. If you're interested in a personal reading, please contact me. I'll put some info below, and I hope you have a great day.